We're fortunate to start today off by hearing some welcoming remarks by our provost, Dr. Clifton Sanders. So we'll have him start that off. And then afterwards, I will say a few words and we'll begin the e-portfolio portion. So thanks, Provost.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's going to be a long 5 minutes, I guess. Anyway, yes, I'm Clifton Sanders. I'm the Provost for Academic Affairs at Salt Lake Community College. And this is one of my favorite events at the college during the year, the Engage Learning celebration, because of the spectacular things that you are going to be hearing about and seeing about from our wonderful students. And I want to thank all of you for being here, and particularly the students themselves, the faculty and staff who supported them, families, loved ones, supportive partners. Welcome, everybody. This is a great time, and especially to the students. You're going to be amazed at what they're going to present with regard to how they use their e-portfolios to help them, advance their knowledge in careers and service learning, and maybe other engaged learning practices, as we call them. And I'm getting all of this good stuff out front because I want to say a few things about engaged learning. The first thing that I want to say is that I actually find it very strange that higher education and academia makes a distinction between the ideas of engaged learning and learning. No, think about it. All of the way that we're all set up, whether it's K through 12 or whether it's college, we're set up around economic models. We have to have so many students in a classroom, and we do these huge lecture halls, and we essentially warehouse ourselves, and we call those learning environments. And we kind of get suckered into this thing of connecting learning with some of these physical structures. And one of the reasons I like this celebration is that this disengages that. We like to think that learning happens everywhere, and we like to not be bounded by the economic or whatever conditions of making learning efficient. That's not learning. Learning is something else. Those are just practical constraints and realities that we have to deal with. But let me just say this, that learning at its best is all about engagement. So engagement, whether it is by practically applying course concepts and materials in real life situations or in laboratories, or through practices that cause students to collect, synthesize, and reflect deeply upon their educational experiences, that's what learning is about. All of the other things are accommodations to that, and some of those actually get in the way. And so I'm just saying that learning really is about engagement, and engaged learning, as you see here, is the best of what learning is about and what the entire college aspires to. Our vision as Salt Lake Community College is to become a model for inclusive and transformative education, strengthening the communities we serve through the success of our students. Those are the words we use. I could have just taken that out and said, the vision of Salt Lake Community College is engaged learning. I could have just said that, and that would have encompassed all of that, as you will see. And so whatever notions of learning and teaching that we might have through tradition must extend beyond ideas that are simply about transmitting information through lectures, or even advising students to just complete their generals so that they can get to the really important courses. That's nonsense as far as I'm concerned. And I think that the students today that you'll hear from and see today are true examples of that anywhere that that you come to the college, there's opportunity for transformation, and transformation comes through engagement and being engaged. And I want to say, with all due respect to the Engaged Learning Celebration, and I say this with great pride, that this is a small sample of what we're about and where we're going. Since, and for a couple reasons, ePortfolios and service learning have been around now for going on 20 years as the practices that we know are high impact practices. But education writ large, and even our state legislature, has recognized that for students to be successful in their college careers, they have to take several high impact experiences. It is mandated in the state. All higher ed agencies that talk about what is it that helps students learn best always come back and focus on engaged learning, or what we call high impact practices. And while I'm happy about this, I just look at it as a rediscovery. What I said earlier about the ways that we structure education, we structured engagement out of it a long time ago. And now we are rediscovering how transformative, how enriching, how necessary learning as engaged learning is for the success of our students, as professionals, as citizens of the community, as lifelong learners. So what we are celebrating here is absolutely essential, a foretaste of more things to come. These kinds of experiences have proliferated around the college. We have symposia now in other schools. We have projects in other kinds of programs. We have faculty in the classroom and in clubs that are helping students become engaged so that it really gives shape to their learning and to their lives. And so this is a celebration for the students here, but it is truly a celebration for the college, and it is a celebration for the vision that I read to you about what Salt Lake Community College is about. And so with that, I just want to say, let's have a good time today. Let's continue to disrupt traditional notions of learning because they don't work. And let us as an institution engage so that students can get the best of what they came here for. And engaged learning is the key. So have a good time. Thanks.
Thank you, Provost Sanders. Appreciate your insightful remarks on learning and the difference between learning and engaged learning. And we're excited to celebrate students today who have been very engaged in their learning and in doing high impact practices. So as I'm sure many of you know, ePortfolio and service learning are both high impact practices. And these students have done phenomenal jobs. Just to give you a little bit of background, ePortfolio is a requirement for this particular tuition waiver for those who have done service learning, as well as for those who are completing general education courses. So we are actually coming up on a decade this summer of ePortfolio being an official requirement for general education courses. So it's exciting to see how much our students are doing and just the progress that's been made. And I think you're going to love seeing their ePortfolio. So we're excited to show them to you, introduce these really outstanding students to you. So we're going to start off today with Madison Cochran. She'll be our first speaker, and we'll have her come on up. And she's going to talk a little bit about her experience creating an ePortfolio with her general education courses. So come on up, Madison.
Hello, everyone, and thank you all for being here today. I would first like to introduce myself. My name is Madison Cochran, and I enjoy watching and playing hockey, spending time with my family and friends, reading and researching new and interesting topics just for fun, because why not? I choose to attend Salt Lake Community College because of the endless opportunities that present themselves daily, whether it be in the classroom or between classes. My ePortfolio has helped me develop as a student because it encourages me to focus and work even harder to ensure that I have high quality pieces of work to post on my ePortfolio at the end of each semester. I am most proud of my English 2010 Intermediate Writing, Business 1050 Foundations of Business Thought, and Humanities 1100 Intro to Humanities pages. I am most proud of my English 2010 page because I feel that it shows my growth of my writing abilities, specifically in my use of word choice, sentence structure, format, and in the displayed in the work that I have uploaded. I am also proud of my Business 1050 page because my signature assignment was a bit challenging to write, but I now have a paper that I am very proud of that is related to my desired career field, where I analyzed and reflected on historic business principles and topics, and then made connections with my current business practices, as well as events in my personal life. I am also very proud of my Humanities 1100 page because of my reflection. I feel that in writing my reflection, I was able to connect my civic engagement write-up that is my signature assignment with many other themes that were discussed throughout the duration of the class. My perspective towards my e-portfolio has evolved throughout my time at Salt Lake Community College. During my first semester, I realized that I was simply going through the motions of creating my e-portfolio to ensure that I got an A and passed the class. It wasn't until my second semester that I had a complete mind shift. I realized that my e-portfolio matters and it has a potential of being very beneficial and helpful throughout my education. After hearing my humanities and business professors speak on the importance of e-portfolios and taking time to help me with my signature assignments and reflections, I began to see the potential. Now I think my e-portfolio is pretty awesome and extremely beneficial. I quickly realized after working on my e-portfolio that general education courses are important, and they do matter because they are making me a more well-rounded, educated, and informed human being. They are practically giving me the skills that I need to be successful in the world. For example, in my Humanities 1100 class, I learned just how important it is to ask questions, look for different perspectives, and challenge ideas and concepts that I am unsure of, especially those that only offer a single story. Now I ask even tougher questions, challenge ideas more often, and intentionally look for different perspectives to help me understand the world and what it means to be human. If you haven't seen The Danger of a Single Story TED Talk, I highly encourage that you take a look. I feel that my e-portfolio has shown the new skills and interests that I have acquired throughout each semester. Additionally, using my goals and outcome page has really helped me see my progress because at the start of each semester, I replace my achieved goals and post new goals that I am going to achieve in the upcoming semester. I hope that my audience who views my e-portfolio realizes just how much I value my education. I hope my e-portfolio will make my audience realize that with some hard work and dedication, anything is possible. If I were to offer a few pieces of advice to students, I would tell them not to listen to the negative views that other students may have regarding their e-portfolio experiences, because the e-portfolio experience can be a positive and beneficial one if you put your mind to it. I would also tell students to utilize the e-portfolio lab and take the time to customize their e-portfolio because the process will be much more enjoyable. And my biggest piece of advice to faculty would be to start creating your own reflection prompts that is specific to the signature assignment and the overall nature of the course. This advice made me think of a quote from John Dewey, who said, "We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience." For example, when I am writing my reflections that are specific to my signature assignment or to the overall nature of the class, my reflections are more in depth because I'm answering questions or responding to statements that are helping me reflect on what I actually learned and what was important in the class, resulting in more meaningful connections made between classes and the real world. My second piece of advice to faculty would be to pick a signature assignment that encompasses the big important concepts and lessons that you were trying to teach your students, so that when students reflect on back on their e-portfolio pages in 1 month or 1 year from now, they can say, "Oh yeah, I remember learning this." And finally, I encourage you faculty to explain the importance of the e-portfolio to your students, because sometimes, and especially for me personally, it was difficult to see the potential benefits that the e-portfolio had to offer when I was staring at a blank web page. And in my closing remarks, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincerest appreciation and thanks to Salt Lake Community College for selecting me as the e-portfolio scholarship recipient. It is a tremendous honor and I am very grateful. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my sincerest gratitude and thanks to all of the dedicated faculty and staff members who have encouraged me, stayed after class to help me with understand an assignment, and re-explain concepts that I was unsure of, and provided valuable guidance throughout my educational journey. If it wasn't for your continued support and dedication to my learning and success, I would not be speaking before all of you here today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Like they said, my name is Josh Reeder, and as you can tell from my welcome page, I love to fish. It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter where. You'll find me out in the mountains or out of a golf course, it doesn't matter. Something special about me is that I am trying to get my way into physical therapy. This is my second year at Salt Lake Community College, and the thing I've always been taught growing up is if you're going to do something right, then do it right on the first time and put all that you can into it. That way you don't have to do it again. And that's the mentality that I put into my ePortfolio. One of the great things about the ePortfolio is that it makes you list out a couple of goals. And those goals I set at the very beginning in my first semester. And one of the goals I find the most pride in is very simplistic, to get good grades. But because of that goal, and because I wrote it down, because as you know, a goal is just a wish if it's not written down. But because of that, every semester, spring, summer, fall, I've gotten a 4.0, and I'm working to get another 4.0 this semester as well. Thank you. So the goals page is just an amazing experience because it lets you think about what you want to accomplish here with your time at Salt Lake Community College. And one of the pages I'm most proud of is my English 2010 course. That was not the easiest course. If you know me, English is not my strong suit, but this course challenged me, and there's no specific signature assignment, but the reflection tells it all. Throughout the whole course, we did many projects, and we made a web page and posted all these projects from notebooks to stories and pictures and all this other stuff. And that reflection, with me looking at it, I'm able to recall everything that I learned. I had a prior relationship with my professor before the class, and when I took the class later, she said she saw how much I grew, and by looking at that reflection chart, I too am able to see how much I grew. And so the ePortfolio really lays out how you can progress as a student. And then the next page I'm proud of is my communications page. Now that class was also not the easiest. We had to give many presentations, and I'm not a public speaker. But because of that class and because of what I learned, one of the signature assignments that we had to do was we had to go and talk to either our friends, coworkers, or family members about how we are as a communicator and what we can do to improve. And when I look at this web page and I see that signature assignment, I can see, okay, this is what my friends, families, and coworkers thought of me. This is what they felt I could do better. And then as I look at the reflection, I'm able to reflect on what I learned through that course and see how I have accomplished those goals that my friends and my family set for me on how I can become that better communicator. And that's the joy of the ePortfolio, is it lets you see where you've come, what you're doing now, and where you're going. On the coursework page, it lays out all of the classes that I've taken. And the beauty of that is, like I said, it lets me see what I have done so far, ranging from humanities to history to a weightlifting class to math and biology and chemistry and all these other courses that I'm taking now. I can measure my progress because I can see what classes I started first, because I know what I took in the spring semester, and I can see, okay, this is where I was struggling. And then I can go to my recent semester and I can look at those classes and see, and look at my reflections, and look at my signature assignments, and look at how I've progressed as a student and as a person. And general education courses, that's what they're there for. They're there not to waste your time like many new students think, but they're there to help you become a well-rounded and educated person. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those general education courses. I probably would still think about physical therapy, but because of those courses and the things I've learned and the reflections, it's really made me think about physical therapy more and makes that 7 years of schooling worth it for sure. Some of my learning outcomes is that as you reflect upon what you learned that semester, that's where it really hits home. And for the new students and for the faculty that are thinking about their ePortfolio assignments and their reflection assignments, The biggest piece of advice that I'd give is make it a meaningful experience for the students, because that's where all of it comes together. If you were to just throw it all together in 5 minutes, then it's not going to mean much. But as I put my heart and soul into it, because like I said, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right, because I hate doing things twice. And so I did all that I could in this ePortfolio, and this ePortfolio is a part of me. And every time I look at it, I can see that. And that's because I had professors and other students that helped me reflect on what I learned that semester, or what I learned in that class and how it applies to me. Because every general education course you take applies in some way or another. And so as I look on my ePortfolio, this is the pinnacle of my time here at Salt Lake Community College. This is what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of my ePortfolio because it displays everything that I have done and all of my great accomplishments. Thank you.
Just by way of introduction, I know a lot of folks here are familiar with the Service Learning Program, but just wanted to give a quick overview of it. It's actually existed here at the college since 2004, so we're about 16 years old. And essentially, the Service Learning Program really is rooted in the ideas Provost Sanders talked about it's rooted in the idea of experiential education. And specifically, it's the integration of service in the academic curriculum to help students learn topics, that they otherwise might just learn in the classroom through textbook or through lecture, but to learn those things hands-on in the community, doing service, and then through reflection, gaining knowledge about their discipline. So it's pretty cool stuff. Experiential ed is something that I've always really enjoyed, and it's the way I enjoy learning. And so it's something that I really am thrilled to help shepherd at the college and help shepherd students through this program. And Provost Sanders was actually one of the original folks who helped start the program here at the college. And Denise has been a big, President Huftelin, has been a big supporter of this for a long time. So just want to, say thank you for your support of the program. And okay, so then now it's the service learning students who are coming up next. And first we have Allison Hogard. Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here to be accepting this scholarship from Salt Lake Community College, and feel very grateful for the opportunity that I have to share with all of you my experiences with service learning. Just to introduce myself a little bit, my name is Allison Hogard. This is my 4th and final semester at Salt Lake Community College. I plan to graduate in May with my associates in general studies. Outside of the classroom, I'm a very social person. I love to be with friends, doing just about anything we can think of. I love to be with family. Our favorite thing to do is to go hiking. We've hiked too many trails to count over the Salt Lake Valley, and when possible, we love to sneak down to southern Utah and hike the Red Rock in Moab and St. George. Some goals that I've set for myself. Short term, I want to graduate in May with a GPA of a 3.8 or higher, which I'm on track to do. And I want to get accepted into a cosmetology school, preferably Taylor Andrews, but I'm willing to go anywhere. It's something that I love and I'm excited to pursue. I also want to pay special attention to focusing on my health, because I feel like when I'm healthy and I feel confident in myself, I perform to my best abilities in every aspect of my life, whether it's school or work. Long-term goals are pretty ambitious. I want to own my own hair salon at some point, and I would also like to get married and raise a family. And one very vague goal that I have that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to measure is I want to make a difference in the world. I don't want to be recognized for it. Even if it's just in one person's life, I want to be able to say that I did my best in making somebody feel loved and feel cared for in the world. While I was making my ePortfolio, I focused a lot on the learning outcomes that Salt Lake Community College has outlined for their general education students. And one that I feel like I focused a lot on through my education says students develop civic literacy and the capacity to be community engaged learners who act in mutually beneficial ways with community partners. And throughout my 4 semesters here, I've had a couple courses that have helped me achieve this. one being a social health and diversity class, and the other I just recently completed in the fall 2019 semester was my marketing 1030 class under the direction of Jennifer Clank. And she was an amazing teacher. She helped me really learn how to be engaged in the community and how to take what I was learning in the classroom and put it into helping other people. So one of the projects that we had in this class was to partner with a nonprofit organization and go and do service at this organization, take pictures while we were there, and then post them on social media platforms to help get the name of this organization out into the community so people knew what they were about, people knew what they could do to go volunteer. And so my group chose to go and do Habitat for Humanity. Now, I had no idea what this organization was before, but came to really love it by the end of this project. Habitat for Humanity is located in downtown Salt Lake City. They focus on building homes for people in the community who can't afford to buy or build their own. And once these homes are built for these people, they essentially pay off their homes by doing hours of service at what they call the Restore. And this Restore is where Habitat for Humanity gets their profit to build homes for people in the community, which is where we spent all of our hours doing our volunteer service. And it was the coolest little store to go into. There was just about anything you could think of, anywhere from blinds to doors to carpeting, tiles, screws. Like, there was everything you could think of. So our job there was to organize it so that their customers could find everything that they needed to easily, so that their employees knew where everything was. And if they got questions, they could easily direct their customers to where they needed to be. And we also worked the back dock of the store. So when people wanted to donate materials, they could drop it off at the dock and we would take it and go organize it. And they got all of their materials in this store from donations or from leftover material from other houses that they had built, which I thought was incredible. They were very grateful for what we did there. Because they're a nonprofit organization, they rely heavily on volunteer hours. They can't afford to pay very many employees to help their organization run. So they really need people to come in and help and volunteer to work. And in turn, I was very grateful for the experience that they offered us, because I was able to take a step outside of the classroom, to take a break from reading through textbooks, and I was able to take what I was learning and apply it to the real world. I knew how to take what I was learning and to use it outside of just presenting in a classroom or turning in an assignment. And it's something that I feel like this experience is going to stick with me for a very long time, because I became emotionally connected to what I was learning in the subject that I took in. So I hope to be involved in more service learning down the road. Thank you.
I think Allison also really echoed what Provost Sanders said about engaged learning. And I wanted to just make a funny comment. After Provost Sanders spoke, I felt like getting up and being like, dude, high five, man. That was the best intro ever. So I had to say that because I thought it was really good. I was bursting with pride over that. Okay, just a side little joke there. Okay, next up, we have Serena Hammond. Serena, come on up.
Hi, my name is Serena Hammond. I'm a sophomore here at Salt Lake Community College. This is also my last semester here. I've always been really passionate about education, travel, recreation, and helping others. In high school, I spent all of my time hiking, doing yoga, and volunteering in after-school programs. And then in college, I'm majoring in recreational therapy so that I can learn more about how people function in order to help them live more satisfying and holistic lifestyles. I know that whatever I end up doing, it's going to be centered around enriching the lives of others. Today, I'm going to be talking about how service learning has influenced my education and how I live. In January, my sister and I took an educational and volunteer-based trip to Thailand. We talked to the local people about how climate change has impacted their lives and the lives of the animals and ecosystems around them. We learned that irresponsible tourism and farming have drastically changed their lifestyles and landscapes in an irreversible way. So when I got home, I enrolled in a climate change course so I could learn about how important it is to make your voice heard and to work every day to make positive changes in your life. I learned that everything we do has a consequence, and it's our responsibility to make sure that our choices leave a positive ripple behind us. In Thailand, I spent some time with young students in an elementary school. the female teachers there invited us out to show the girls that they can travel, go to college, and be independent, which is really rare in such a patriarchal society. We wanted them to know that marriage is a choice, not a requirement, and that they can live full, robust lives for themselves. This taught me that you don't need to be a hero or anyone extremely special to make a difference in a community. The simplicity of being willing to serve is what's important, and the act of volunteering is what makes communities stronger. So my goal here today is to encourage others to be more civically engaged and to see how important service learning is. Academically, my biggest goal is to graduate from the U and find a fulfilling career in recreational therapy that enriches the lives of others while also being financially independent and comfortable. So my most influential class thus far, and the reason I'm here today, was English 2010 with Lisa Packer. This class taught me how to connect my education to the real world and how to use that knowledge to be a more productive member of society. This was a service learning class that gave me the opportunity to connect what I was learning to real-life situations. My focus in this class was on how our current education systems can assist and hold back students. And then I met and got to know the kids that I was writing about. I volunteered with Junior Achievement as a mentor with elementary and middle school students. Junior Achievement is a program where young students can go to learn how to get a job, how to be a good employee, and how to manage their finances. We spent a lot of time talking about things from budgeting to financial independence, and I think we made a really big impact during our short time together. This taught me that the main thing it takes to get people involved and interested is an environment conducive to learning and growing in an exciting and engaging way, and Junior Achievement does a really good job of providing that. Back in English 2010, me and a couple of my classmates created an online magazine to showcase our coursework and to see how civic engagement has supplemented our writing. The simple act of reflecting on our writing and connecting it to our service really helped it all make sense. I noticed a big improvement in my writing when I was developing ideas that I cared about and saw firsthand, opposed to abstract ideas in a textbook. Being able to work one-on-one with children in an educational setting enhanced my writing by being able to understand their perspective. I learned that writing is a form of action because it gives a face to an issue to make people care and to see that making change is possible by seeing other people do it. Being civically engaged is a huge priority for me because that's what makes life fulfilling and satisfying. Dedicating my life to education and studying really only pays off when I can apply those concepts to real life and see how I've impacted others. It can be hard to find time to prioritize service, especially when work and school and homework take up such a bulk of my time, but these are the experiences that will stay with me long after college is over. I want to give a big thanks to Lisa Packer for being a stellar service learning instructor, and to Christy Necht for being an amazing advocate for Junior Achievement, and to Lucy Smith for helping me put this all together. Thank you.
Okay. Last but not least, we have our final speaker, who is Dorothy Alata. And so come on up, Dorothy. We'll hear from her.
So thank you all for coming. My name is Dorothy, and I am a second-year dental hygiene student, a vice president for my class, and I will be graduating this May. For those of you who don't know who a dental hygienist is, one, we do get mistaken as a dental assistant. Two, we are actually oral health professionals, and we provide services like preventative care, like polishing teeth and giving fluoride. We educate our patients like proper home oral care and what periodontal disease is. And we do treatment for our patients like the regular and deep cleanings and even providing local anesthesia. So if you know anyone who's interested in getting a cleaning for $50 or less, come find me. Come find us at the Jordan campus. I promise we don't bite. So just to go back a little bit more about me and what I like to do outside of the classroom and outside of the clinic, I do like to spend a lot of my time up in the mountains. So I'm always snowboarding with my friends and family up in Park City. I love to spend time and travel with my fiance. We have been together for 8.5 years so far, and we'll be getting married this August. So I'm excited about that. Thank you so much, guys. And I like to make memories with my friends and family. And that includes my dental hygiene family, as well as I learned to cherish like all the moments that we've been together since we started the program. So to go over a few things about my goals and outcomes, especially when I graduate this May, one of my few goals is for my fiance and I to buy our own home and hopefully adopt a dog someday after we get married. And I also hope to kind of advance and expand my skills in dental hygiene in my career sometime in the future as well. So I'm actually very looking forward to that. And as a vice president for my class, one of the major duties that I have is community service. I do coordinate a lot with my faculty and with community partners about that and how to set things up for the dental hygiene student body so that they're able to give back as well. And out of those experiences I've had, one of the ones I wanted to highlight is with the Midvale CVC Community Clinic. They have a dental clinic up at Midvale where I'm able to provide dental hygiene services to those who are in need and to those who don't normally get access to dental care. The majority of my patients that I see over there are the underserved Hispanic community, families who are in financial need, and just those who may or may not even have dental insurance. So volunteering with them at their health fairs and even just being there doing my rotations every Friday, I'm able to do a lot for those patients and to really get to know their needs and be able to recognize that. I have been able to build my skills and build my confidence and leadership and in my work performance over there as I've learned a lot with them and working with my team. Over there, I've also have learned to adapt to my environment, like how to communicate with language barriers, which by the way, I've gotten better at Spanish. And just being able to operate new equipment and with different supplies that I'm not used to at our regular dental clinic at the Jordan campus. So with that one, they have given me a real experience of what it's like to work at a dental office. So being involved with the community, to me, it's very important because we're able to make a positive change based on our actions. I do believe that people deserve access to improve their quality of life. And for me, I find it very easy to accomplish that with my skills in dentistry. So I want to thank a few people. I would like to thank my dental hygiene faculty, the community partners I get to work with, and for others like Lucy Smith, for giving me the opportunity to do service work activities and to really give back to my community. Because volunteering really made me realize how much I truly enjoy helping others, especially when I get to help in my own way. It showed me real concerns that people are facing today, and it helped me to build my critical thinking on what solutions I can provide for them. It also taught me things that you don't normally get in the classroom. Just stuff like just being able to communicate well and being able to understand what people are going through. So I highly encourage people to participate in service learning activities because for me, it molded me into a better person I am today and be able to give back for a brighter future. Plus, the more we give back to others, the more we actually feel happier inside. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you to all the students for speaking. I know that can be challenging, getting in front of everybody and being able to talk about your experiences. But thank you so much. And I also just want to say thank you to a few other folks in the room. I want to recognize Cassie Hoffmeister and also Victoria Harding, who have been absolutely instrumental in helping us pull this event together, from the food and catering and the programs and just making sure Em and I, all together, making sure that the event works well and comes together. So I just really appreciate that. And thank you also to our intern, Stephanie, who's a part of the college internship program. Just, there's no I in team. Okay. I know. I like to use humor when I talk because I think it's funny, but go figure. Okay, now I'd like to introduce the president, President Huftelin. If you could come up and say a few closing remarks, please, that would be great.
If I could also acknowledge the faculty that are here, that these experiences that these students are hearing about or telling you about are not easy to orchestrate. They come on top of content knowledge and expertise that faculty have, but faculty have to really think about how to embed that into their curriculum. It takes them extra time to make connections with community partners. It takes them a lot of time to just negotiate those logistics. So for the faculty in the room who have been, all of our faculty, will you stand so that we can recognize the amazing work that you do every day? Thank you. That is by far one of our strengths at Salt Lake Community College is the quality of faculty that we have who care deeply about students. So one of the things I like to do at this luncheon and at some of the other luncheons when we're highlighting students is just really listen to what I hear them say as they're accepting these scholarships and sharing their experiences. And I just want to, so I've crafted a few remarks based on what I heard. My background is very different than faculty background. My background is in student affairs. So my career has been spent kind of on the student affairs side of the house, helping students negotiate and work through non-curricular experiences, right? Being involved in clubs, getting involved with athletics. I've had lots of time in judicial meetings with students. And what Provost Sanders says about where you learn and how you learn is very, very dear to me, because many of those experiences as a student affairs practitioner, they were not in the classroom, but the learning that occurred, whether it was on a soccer pitch, whether it was in a disciplinary hearing, whether it was in a volunteer service opportunity, whether it was on a study abroad trip, that learning is, in many ways, as you've heard today from our students, even more relevant to their lives. And as you heard one of our students say, emotionally connects them to the things that we're learning. So I just wanted another shout out for outside of classroom learning and the power that has. I have the occasion often to buy books and stack them on my nightstand. And every now and then I start peeling them off my nightstand. I actually get through them, but I have a pretty big stack right now. And the one that I most recently got through is a book that I'm actually going to be reading from next week at our African American Read-In. It's a book by Ross Gay, and it's called The Book of Delights. And this is a poet and essayist who challenged himself every day during 1 year of his life, from birthday to birthday, to chronicle every day something that delighted him. And so every day is a new day and a new delight. And it's everything from something he saw or read or heard, a person, an experience, sometimes just a smell that he describes beautifully. And the idea here is that every day, all the time, if we stop and think long enough and pause, there are really delightful things happening around us. And I can become fairly pessimistic. Sometimes it's the legislative session, for instance, right now, which can make me very pessimistic. But if you rethink and pause and try to create some optimism and start looking at the delights in your life, it can change your mindset, right? So this afternoon, I was listening as these students spoke, and I was delighted by some of the things I heard. So for instance, listen to these words that came out of our students' mouths. Madison, she talks about having evolved, having a complete mind shift, being an informed human being. Josh talks about this e-portfolio is a part of me. It was the pinnacle of my time here. 8 weeks of joy. Those are delightful words for a president and for faculty members who care deeply about students and their experience to hear. Allison talks about making a difference in the world and how to be engaged in the community, and talks about being emotionally connected to what she was learning. The coolest volunteer experience I've ever had. That's what we want to have happen. And it's delightful to hear that. Serena says she's centered around the enrichment of others, that everything we do has a consequence, that the act of volunteering makes our community stronger, and that writing is a form of action. And last but not least, Dorothy talks about how she was able to build her skills and confidence, how to communicate across language barriers, and that people deserve access to a high quality of life. Imagine if we took all of those words and we somehow infused them into every human being on the planet to live into those words. Imagine what kind of world we would have if what those 5 students just taught us was absorbed and enacted upon and modeled by our colleagues and our friends and our family and our leaders and our world. It could be a very, very different place. So thank you to the students for giving me 5 very different moments of delight this afternoon. And I would encourage you all to share those learning opportunities and those little nuggets with other people. Talk about your experience as a college student in those ways. College can be very intimidating. It can be expensive. And sometimes people don't understand the value of it. But when you talk about your experience and use those words that have really informed yourself as a human being, the value is immeasurable. And it can make our world such a better place. So my thanks to our faculty who make that happen. And my thanks to the students who carve out time, and I know what are very, very busy lives, to engage in learning and to become better as a human being. So thank you all for joining us, and my best to you. Have a wonderful afternoon, and talk about Salt Lake Community College to all of your friends and family. Thanks.